I wonder if I'm the only one in this boat. I feel like I'm working on a million projects at once, but at the same time I'm getting nothing done or nothing is happening. Hey, welcome. I'm Sarah YM, and I figured today I sit down and I talk about my whips, the things I'm working on, what's on my needles, and the works in progress. So I find myself that I often feel like I'm working on a ton of things, but at the same time I get a bit discouraged because nothing's done, or the number of projects sounds like a low number. So for myself currently, I have 4 projects on the go. 4 is a small number, it's not a big number, but it's a lot. I feel very, very busy. I feel like I'm not progressing with anything because all my projects are either in the early stage or the middle stage. Nothing is close to being finished and obtaining that satisfaction of it being done. So I figured I'd just talk about my whips, and hopefully that ignites some encouragement for me during the slump to keep going, and encourage you to keep going as well with your works in progress. So first I'm going to talk about the Hearts on Fire tank I'm working on. So this is a drops pattern. It's a tank top that's worked from the bottom up with some gorgeous eyelet and lace detail. I am making it in drop saffron and the color sage green. Oh, these needles are everywhere, sorry. Okay, so let's talk about where I am with this, how I'm feeling about this project. Overall, I really like this one. I would say it's probably an intermediate level. I don't actually know what they classify it as, but I would say it's intermediate in its difficulty. But I believe if you're a beginner that's done a few things and you want to try some lace and eyelet, I think this may be a good pattern for you. Where I am so far is I've done the body, and I'm currently about to work on the back, and then I will do the front left and right straps, put it together and block it. I think this may take me another week or 2, just depending on kind of what my schedule's like, what I'm doing in the next 2 weeks, but that's kind of the timeline I'm seeing for finished object. If I like the finished object, I could see it being a pattern that I potentially knit in the future in different colors and maybe experiment with different yarns. This is the Drops on Fire tank, and I am really excited about where it is. I'm feeling pretty good about how it's coming along, and that I've got about 2 weeks left of work on it. Next, I'm going to talk about this guy. That's the back. This one. This is all I have at the moment. So this is a cool crop top by Paintbox Yarns. I'm making this up in Drops Cotton Light. It is a DK. The pattern was made with a Paintbox Yarn DK, and it does suggest a DK. However, with the way I knit, I had to actually restart this guy. So let's go back. I did a swatch, but not a full swatch because I'm super impatient. I did a partial swatch, thought, well, it's good enough. The stitches are a little off when I count them, but it's okay. And it wasn't. I got maybe like 20 centimeters done, and I went, this looks massive. This doesn't look right. This isn't gonna work out. This is gonna turn out being awful, and I'm going to hate it. So as painful as it is, I decided to pull it apart, try and get my gauge correct, and restart the project. What ended up happening is I have had to downsize or go down in size with my needles quite a lot to get the gauge required, even though I'm using another DK yarn. Moral of the story, swatch, especially if it is a pattern or you're using a different yarn or anything like that. That is even more so of a reason, in my experience. My suggestion, this is all my opinion, to do a swatch. And trust me, I get so impatient with swatching, but it is necessary because it's so much worse to knit a whole bunch or crochet a whole bunch and then you pull it all apart, because ultimately you're not going to be happy with the finished object. You won't. You'll be really unhappy and you'll be kicking yourself. So that is my suggestion. Now back to the pattern. This one is not made in the round. This is made flat, as you can see. It's made flat. I'm currently working on the front piece. Then I will do the back piece where we get that really cool, gorgeous keyhole or cutout. It's probably more of a cutout. And then the 2 sleeves. Assemble it together, do the finishings like neckband, and block it. I foresee this one taking quite a while. Paintbox Yarns has classified this as advanced, and I would have to agree. Overviewing the pattern, I think I'll be okay doing it, but I agree that it looks advanced, and I can foresee it giving me quite a few challenges, but that's all part of learning. For me, that's part of the reason why I do this, is I like to learn these new skills and try things out. And for me, doing it is how I'm going to learn it. How else are you going to learn? So that's where I am with this one. I'm at the beginning of it again. I foresee this taking me a while and it giving me some challenges, but that's okay. I welcome it because I'm sure the finished object's going to be great. All right, next knitting project is this one. This is the Cotton Candy by Drops. This one's made in the round, worked bottom up. I'm currently working on the back. I've gotten to the bottom of the sleeves, and now I'm gonna work the front and the back separately as per the pattern. So I'm working on the back. The pattern suggests you use Drops Kid Silk and Drop Baby Alpaca held together. However, I am using 2 different colors of Drops Kid Silk held together. That being said, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. This is what I pictured in my head. This beautiful, light, fluffy, warm, gorgeous, cozy sweater. So with the things I have made in Drops, I am a size medium in Drops patterns. However, the model in the finished object photos of this pattern is wearing a large. Drops himself confirmed this because someone did ask it. The model's wearing a large. And to get that oversized look, they went up a size. That makes sense. The pattern isn't necessarily made oversized. So I am making this particular sweater in a size large because I want that oversized look for this beautiful fluffy cloud. Now, kind of my take on this. This pattern is giving me a lot of satisfaction right now. It is making up quite quickly. It's very simple. It is turning out how I pictured it in my head. So it's checking off all those boxes. It is definitely the piece I am going to right now when I am frustrated or feeling a little burnt out with my other projects and I need something to kind of put some pep in my step. I think I will be done this one also in probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. It just depends on how I'm feeling and which projects I tend to work on in the next couple of weeks. And I can't wait. It's going to be way too hot to wear it at that point, but it's going to be nice and ready for when the weather starts to cool in the fall. And the last project I'm working on is a sewing project. I am taking a wedding dress and I'm going to be repurposing it into a cocktail dress. Now, I am going to be doing a separate video series on this because I believe this project will take me months. I know that just based on the pre-planning. I know this project will take me months to complete, and I will be learning a lot, trying out a whole bunch of new techniques, trying things I have never done before to get there. But this is what I like to do. This red dress that I made, which is a replica of Satine's red dress from Moulin Rouge, that took me maybe 6 months. And there's no pattern, I just kind of winged it. I've never made a corset before, I've never made a skirt like that before. There's so many things in that dress that I've never done before. And I had so much fun making it and learning things, and so much satisfaction when I was done being like, I did that. I figured it out. Mind you, with the help of some amazing people, especially in the YouTube space, who are so good at instructions, so good at breaking things down, so good at explaining things, that I did that. So this is kind of a likewise project. I'm going to be trying out a whole bunch of new things to get there, and I will bring you along with me. So if that journey is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing, because I'd like to bring you along as I explore these new techniques and kind of fumble through this process. Now, where am I with this project though? This is a work in progress sort of update check-in. I've pre-planned my design. I've got an overall game plan for the dress, and the first thing I need to do is deconstruct it. So to do that, I'm started by removing the lace from the train of the dress. I have spent 7 hours and I think I've done maybe a fifth of it. Maybe 7 hours. Now the piece on the dress is pretty much sewn on. It almost seems like one big piece, but I have to cut them off in sections as I pick it off. And it's quite a process. So they're kind of chunks like this. I have some bigger pieces and I have plans on how I'm going to be reusing these or using these on the new dress. I know right off the bat with the amount of lace that I won't be using all this lace. I won't be dyeing all this lace. So I will have lace left over for future projects, which is kind of really awesome. I think lace is really cool. I don't work with it a lot. I've barely worked with it, to be completely honest, but I think it's beautiful. Now, whose wedding dress is this? Where did I get this? That I will explain in the videos specifically for this project. But essentially the short version is I have a friend who got married, had purchased this dress on Amazon. She ended up never using it. For it being an Amazon dress, I'm kind of impressed with the quality of it and the quality of even just the lace I'm taking off the dress. Pretty good. Now the construction of the dress and how the dress fit her, she never wore it for those reasons. But that being said, I'm going to have a whole bunch of challenges. I've never dyed anything before, so the dyeing portion in of itself is going to be a new experience for me. And she is smaller than me. So I don't have an oversized dress that I am cutting in or pulling back in on. I have a dress that I can't even get over my hips. So I've got a lot of work to do to make this fit, but I have a plan. We'll see if it works out. And I hope you join me for that. So these are the 4 projects I have on the go. Now, 4 projects, like I said, that's a small number. That number fits on one hand. But 4 projects is kind of my limit. If I get to any more, I find I get discouraged because nothing is progressing to the point where I'm happy with it or where I can see the finish line, and I tend to get discouraged. 4 is my limit. Though, like I said, I'm in a bit of a lull and a dip, and I'm hoping this video kind of ignites some oomph under me so that I want to dive back into them. And like I said, hopefully finish some in the next couple weeks. Let me know in the comments below. How many projects do you have on the go? What's your sweet spot? What do you like to have? I love hearing what people are working on. I find it really exciting and inspiring. Thank you for joining me today. And until next time.